Geek to me radio, da 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 da. Domo arigato, geek to me radio, da 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 da.
Welcome, geeks and nerds, girls and boys, to a brand new edition of Geek to Me Radio. Tonight we'll be joined by actor Keith Coogan. He'll be talking all about growing up as a child actor, all the stuff he's doing now, character actor work, and more. Later on, we'll talk to the voice of Super Mario himself, Charles Martinet. We'll also talk to voice actor Nolan North, what he thought of Tom Holland in the Uncharted series. All that and more. Stand by.
Comics and movies and video games. And if you don't know Star Trek and Star Wars, we'll try to explain. There are 12 doctors for Hogwarts houses, one ring rules them all. To be the greatest Pokemon master, you must catch them all. You must catch them all. Try to catch them all. Gotta catch them all. Gotta catch them all.
If you're driving around the greater St. Louis area tonight listening to us on the Big 550 KTRS, hello to you. Thank you for tuning in. This is a pre-recorded show, my first pre-recorded show. I've been doing them live ever since we started here on KTRS back in March. Obviously, stuff comes up. It's summer. People are traveling. So this will be my first pre-recorded show, but it is still new content. No best of for my audience. No. We're going to give you a brand new show with 3 great guests, and I think you'll enjoy hearing from all 3 of them. I'll be back live next Sunday, of course, with some guests as well. A lot of stuff going on. We're getting a lot of great interviews, a lot of great content. Hopefully you've been enjoying the show so far. If you could, whether you're listening live right now or you're hearing us after the fact in the podcast form, whatever platform you're hearing us, seek us out on iTunes, on Google Podcasts, wherever you're listening to your podcast from, Spotify, and give us a 5-star review. That really is something you can do that's very simple, that goes a long way in helping us. It raises us up in the search engine optimization and so much more. So if you could take the time to do that, we would really appreciate it. With that said, 3 great guests, not a lot of time. Let's get right to it. We're at MightyCon in St. Louis. We've got actor Keith Coogan here talking about his career and everything like that. Keith, I appreciate the time today.
Oh, no, thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate the attention.
When you think of all the stuff, you've been in so many projects, both TV and film. When in your mind as an actor did you feel you've kind of hit the mark, hit where you want to be, hit it, air quotes, big?
Never. So you're always looking for... you have to, especially in the 70s and 80s, you have to have booked your next job before your last one is released. Because if that's a stinker, you might not get another job. And it was more about long ball career. My family always said, you never want to be hot because you can go cold. You just want to be warm forever. So I've been doing this 46 years. I'm just trying to do 2 projects a year if I can. We're doing all these conventions. It's great. And... So never, and that's kind of the key, and I've been seeing this as a theme in a lot of interviews with like A-listers right now, and they said, and especially creatives, directors, writers, cinematographers even, and they said, you get to Hollywood and you think, you get a series, you get a big movie, that's your break, and it's going to be a whole other level, a whole other tier, and they go, they do, and they did it, and they look around, and there's nothing but more work, and harder work. Because now you've added a manager, now you got a publicist, now you got a stylist, now you got a trainer, now you got a dialect coach, now you got more people to take care of. This is also why I don't get angry when I hear a star makes $30 million a picture. Because when they started, they didn't. And when they started, they also needed people to help them. Family, friends, a stylist, a PR person. And now they're not getting $30 million. They're taking care of an agent, a manager, a stylist, a publicist, a driver, a nanny, a thing. So that kind of entourage, to get A-list, you cannot do it by yourself. You need a team, a scheduler, a thing. You need a whole freaking team. So and if you ask them, they will also probably give you the same answer. I don't feel like I've broken yet. I don't feel like I've made it yet. Yeah, no, you don't. You can't because you'll rest on your laurels. You go, oh, I made it. I'm a big star.
So you think that kind of that need to stay hungry, that as we just said, simmering, kind of what has given you your longevity in the career?
I have a rule: I do not eat before auditions.
Really?
Be hungry in the room. What? All of a sudden, all your urgency is gone. You're fat. You're happy. You're not even thirsty. Got to have some need in that room.
Sure, that makes sense. And that's why...
Good, wiry, hungry with a little bit of fear in your eye.
And they just ordered lunch before we're doing the interview, so this is why it's going to be a good interview.
We hope we haven't ordered lunch yet, but we'll get there. We'll get there.
When you do all these convention appearances, what are you most surprised by the people who come up to you and want an autograph, or they've got this memory, that memory? Has there ever been one that's kind of taken you back and surprised you?
The deep cuts are fun. I do love when people have love for like Hiding Out or Book of Love or... a Tales from the Crypt episode I did, or something. I appreciate that because it's. I also consume a lot of pop culture, and so I consider myself really on the other side of the table. I just am lucky enough to have done some work and be able to be on this side of the table. So when I go to conventions, I'm always running around to the other guests and looking at all the stuff you can buy for something that's your favorite movie or favorite TV or show like that. And I'm just lucky to be, have Curtis Armstrong said it, Booger from, he said, there's 2 levels of luck. First level, you got a job. You're in a movie. You're in something. They're paying you to act. That's great. Second level, is it something that's got a box set 35 years from now? Are they remaking it? Do they do Blu-ray of it? Do people still talk about it? That is another. So for him, Nerds, obviously, Revenge of the Nerds is one of those jobs. I love it when people come up for movies that aren't those.
Right.
They're my Downhill Willies, my Pythons, my Power Within. I did a karate movie, a snake movie, So I like it when they love those deep cuts, because I would do the same thing. Like I saw Giancarlo Esposito. Do I say anything about Breaking Bad? No. I go, do the right thing, dude. Really? I'm pulling on a 30-year-old movie? So yeah, I appreciate
he's in Star Wars. I'm sure he loves that little deep cut.
Yeah.
So as a pop culture connoisseur, do you have things like, have you taken stuff like things from movies or projects you've done that you have like a little collection of, like a Keith Coogan Hall of Fame?
I'm going to say a really shitty answer.
Okay.
The DVDs, and they're available in Walmart. I never kept anything. The work itself is the work. So, okay, well, I did. I kept a pair of torn jeans from Don't Tell Mom the Babysitters Did, Kenny's jeans. Mm-hmm. Years later, I auctioned them on eBay. Very proud they went for more than the chest plate from Gladiator that Russell Crowe wore. And then years later, I found out Russell Crowe was actually selling everything in mass after a divorce, and he was selling it dirt cheap. And so I was like, not that proud anymore. But
but still, you can have that benchmark laid out, though.
No, I didn't. I kept, weird things that not even great, projects that people would remember. But there's a whistle in Cheetah that we used to call the Cheetah, and that was, an adventurous shoot. 5 weeks out in Africa with real animals and working with the animals. I had actually occasion to work with a lot of animals in my career. As a kid actor, I worked with chickens and horses and cats and dogs and raccoons, snakes, in Africa, hippos and rhinos and giraffes and zebras and wildebeests and cheetahs. Lassie, I presented a Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Award with Lassie. And so I was always good working with animals. I don't remember the question.
No, it's terrible. If you have things that like...
the cheetah whistle, I do keep all the crew jackets and crew shirts because there's a pissing contest when you get on a movie. You wear a crew shirt from one of your last projects on day 1. Day 2, you wear a different crew shirt. Day 3, you wear a different. And who can go longest without repeating a shirt? And I like that competition.
I didn't know that was a thing. That's awesome.
Absolutely.
So it's like across all projects you've worked on, that's always a thing?
Yeah, and I can get 20 days deep without
that's
changing.
Impressive.
I'm pretty proud of that. Yeah.
See, it's like those little tidbits I'd like to know. I've never known that before. That's awesome. And with early on, you've got obviously some Hollywood background in your family. Was that ever one of those things you remember as a little kid? They're like, oh, Keith's going to grow up to be in the business as well. Was there ever, not an expectation set upon you, but kind of just a non-spoken, you're going to do this kind of work as well? No,
I had kind of just wanted to do it from watching TV, so my parents were very confused as to how I knew about it. I didn't know anything about this at 4. I didn't know my family did it. And so I guess it's something that could be in the blood. And then it was, well, I certainly had people I could turn to for career advice, always there.
Yeah.
I'd be reading for, like, say, Tom Sawyer, and, you know, it's interesting you'd be able to turn to the guy that did the first talkie version of Tom Sawyer. And, but I wasn't using the Coogan name, I was using Keith Mitchell. My mom didn't want me to get cast just for a connection to my grandfather. So, but my grandfather was disappointed. He's like, why didn't he use the Coogan name? But he's also very competitive. So by the time I was 8 and I didn't have an international hit with Chaplin, he relaxed a little, knowing I would never surpass his his peak of his career when he was 6.
And with that, with all the stuff you've done, we mentioned a lot of the TV shows. You've done everything from Love Boat, Knight Rider, these staples of the 80s and 90s that you've got to work on. Is there ever a project that you may have been, like something you were taught by, or you learned a lesson on one of these projects from one of the actors that stuck with you as kind of like that kernel of truth or knowledge you've taken on to other projects?
Every day you work with Henry Fonda or Robin Williams or Jonathan Winters or Ralph Waite, or any day you're working with pros. And that's the advice I give to young filmmakers. They're like, I could work on student films or shorts. And I'm like, that's cool. And you can have a department head on those. You could run sound on a short film. That's great. You do better to do anything and work with people that make a living at it. Take any job, and Mel Brooks says this, any job, any door. Yeah, you want to be an actor, you want to be a writer. Your first job on a set might not be that, but you're learning the lingo, you're making connections, you're seeing if it's something you really like, because there's kind of a gallows humor in it, in that it is horrible hours. It's horrible. There's always a bunch of whistling in the dark, not knowing if anyone's going to see this, appreciate it, like it. And it's as far from the theater experience. Being an actor is immediate. The immediacy of doing something, making somebody cry, making somebody laugh, immediately getting that applause. That is crack. Now, what if you take a hit of crack, but you don't feel the high for a year? That's going to be a weird disconnect between doing the work and getting the result, and then seeing the benefits of that, or whatever. Say that gets you another job, because work begets work. Somebody sees you doing something, so it's weird to do something and then you've done something else, and then that thing you did a while back comes out, again. Where were we on the question? Sorry, once again, haven't eaten. Learning from people. Yeah. So, always prepare for the cover set. It's really the best thing I could say. On a script, you're going to have the day for the call sheet. But at the very bottom, it says cover set. This is in case there's a fire at the location. It's rainy. It's an outdoor thing. Something happens, and they have to run to the cover set. Well, there's going to be, with your working crew, there's going to be props, lighting, set that you need to cover, wardrobe. If you're an actor, you better learn those lines, too.
Yeah. Okay.
Sarandon on Dog Day Afternoon. He has an amazing part as the wife of one of the bank robbers, and it's just a remarkable little 5-minute scene in the middle of the thing, and it's a tour de force. He was called a week early. Hey, we are locked out of a location, and we're going to shoot the barbershop scene. It's a scene across the street from the bank in the movie. And Sarandon was like, I'm not ready. Like, you better get ready. We're going right now. So you prepare. That's the one thing I've learned from most actors. Prepare. And then you don't have nerves because you're prepared.
One of the questions that now has come to my mind, you just mentioned how you had that delayed gratification with the applause because you might have done a movie and it doesn't come out for a while. COVID obviously affected a lot of actors. You might have had projects that were about to come out that had to be pushed back significantly. How did COVID affect you and the project you had?
We're going to take our first commercial break. We'll come right back and get that answer from Keith Coogan. You're listening to Geek to Me Radio on the Big 550 KTRS. Please stand by.
Hi, this is Robert Hayes, and surely you can't be serious, but you are listening to Geek to Me Radio.
We are back. Geek to Me Radio, heard live here every Sunday night on the Big 550 KTRS. I'm your host, James Enstall. Welcome back. Want to make sure we tell you about their premier sponsor for this show, the people without whom this show would not be possible, and that, of course, is the Greater St. Charles Convention and Visitors Bureau. You know them by their website, discoverstcharles.com. Just got a book in the mail today. It's a catalog. They put out, I think it's quarterly, these catalogs all about the cool things there are to see and do in St. Charles. And once again, I'm blown away. I find there's a new restaurant that I did not know was in the area that sounds amazing. We're going to have to go try that now as well. But it's one of those things you always discover something new every time you go to St. Charles, be it a new restaurant, a new store that's popped up, something new to do. They have some new attraction or an event that you didn't know was happening that's brand new. So it's always a good time. If you haven't gone to visit lately, you might want to go, check them out again. There's the big Halloween festival. We're in the middle of summer, I know. It seems weird, but Halloween's my favorite holiday. And, of course, Halloween right around the corner. It's July now. Pretty soon it's going to be October. Legends and Lanterns will be kicking off for all of you Halloween fans out there like me. This is a great, free, family-friendly event that you can go do in St. Charles. And no matter where you're from, this is something a lot of people come out to. Even we had some people come in from Kansas City. I was talking to them last year at the festival. They came in because they heard about it. I'm not sure if they heard about it here. That'd be great. But no matter where you hear about it, it's a cool thing to go see and do. And then right around the corner from that, Christmas Traditions coming up. That one draws an international crowd. We have families come from France. We have families where there was a family who came from Germany. They'd come 2 years in a row just for this Christmas festival. It's that amazing. If you haven't been to St. Charles lately, there's probably something new for you to discover as well. Start with the website, discoverstcharles.com. That's discoverstcharles.com. Plan your trip now. See all the things there are that you could be missing out on and you want to take part of. DiscoverStCharles.com. As we always say, it's an historically good time. Before we took that last break, we were chatting with actor Keith Coogan, very busy as we were talking about all the stuff he's working on. And I'd asked him, I said, okay, well, how did you keep busy during COVID?
One of the questions that now has come to my mind, you just mentioned how you have that delayed gratification with the applause because you might have done a movie and it doesn't come out for a while. COVID obviously affected a lot of actors. They might have had projects that were about to come out that had to be pushed back significantly. How did COVID affect you and project you had, project you're working on?
I worked more than ever. First thing I did was Quarantine Bunch, and we made a show about, there is a true group, a former child star secret society, and there's about 200 of us, and we can, share war stories or cry on each other's shoulders, or as much as we have a shared experience, every child actor has a different, very unique upbringing.
Sure.
So-and-so hit at 8. So-and-so was a has-been at 12. So-and-so wasn't famous till they were 16. So everyone hit stardom differently developmentally. So that's significantly different.
Yeah.
But, everything, the money, the family dynamics is very different. But there is enough of a shared thing we can't talk to anybody else about. They're going to be like, what are you whining about? What are you crying about? So we did Quarantine Bunch, which is we have to move our meetings online now because of actors just keep working. They don't really care. We created, it was, everything was done on Zoom. We were one of the first things released. And then later that week, Saturday Night Live comes out with, and it was very Zoomy. Audiences didn't take to that. Saturday Night Live mailed out high-def kits, packages, green screens. The next Saturday Night Live they did not look like a Zoom call. But it was interesting because everyone was so shocked with pandemic, what's going on. I wound up doing 3 features, 2 TV shows. Wow. And, yeah. And then, it kind of started to loosen up, and I got booked a Rookie, which was great, doing a guest episode on the Rookie. It didn't... Hollywood was one of the... First of all, it was in the essential industries list.
Yeah, that's
Media
right.
was on there. You can continue filming. They're not shutting that down. Not when it's $3 trillion of income for California.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tax revenue. And they found a way forward. It's called the Safe Way Forward, and it was with testing and masking and zone systems, the vaccines when they came in, and it had changed it. I think working on a lower budget independent film will always feel the same way, but for bigger productions, all of the COVID protocols killed everything that was fun about making a show or a movie.
Yeah. One of the things you've got in post-production, team of two, Mark Singer, Lorenzo Lamas. Do you have? I looked. I didn't see a release date yet. Do you have any news on that at all?
No, we just had a party, like a cast party, and Joss Gomez, the writer, director, star, he threw a little party for us and showed the trailer for the first time, and it was like up to the minute whether the trailer was going to be ready. And I do post, and I know that it could take forever, especially cutting a feature. And he goes, "We looking to release it very soon." And I'm like, "Don't say like if it's early June. Don't say late June. Like I don't know where the movie's at." But the trailer wound up being absolutely fantastic.
I watched it.
And in the end, he does that bit, the Will Smith gag. And when we're at the party and that bit came on, and it's funny, on independent production, you can shoot and turn it around and get it released in a timely manner to still resonate with something that's, pop culture zeitgeist. That line hit, we all died, and we turned to him and we go, play it again. Play that trailer again immediately. And as people are commenting, it's trash. You look at it, you go, I know what kind of trailer. This is 3 o'clock in the morning. I am insomniac. I'm flipping through channels. You go, what the hell is this? And you stay and you watch the whole thing, and then you try to find it again when it plays.
Right.
It's Cinemax trash. But if you know that when you're doing it, you can have fun. And I don't think anybody had more fun doing that than us. Yeah, Team of Two is going to be. He goes through, I think, 19 partners.
Wow.
I saw the list of buddy cop
and everything
movie
like
that
that.
Can't keep a partner.
It sounds like a great movie. And again, it's one of those ones that is one of the ones you like mentioned. It's one of those deep cuts. Someone's going to come to you with that poster and be like, dude,
that would
I
be
want you to
amazing.
sign this. So
Yeah.
And anything else other than that on the horizon you've got like in the works you can kind of tease people about and tell people it's
We got
coming
On
up?
Our Own, which was some Jersey boys, all connected to the Kevin Smith and View Askew universe and stuff. Well, when your parents finally kick you out and you're an adult grown man, you're on your own. So it's On Our Own. It's about adult grown Jersey guys that have to get there, go out on their own and like living at home. They're not living at home anymore. And I'm a skeezy divorce attorney, but had great fun working with Brian O'Halloran.
Yeah.
We had only, met at autograph conventions and here and there, and I was in Reboot, but I didn't get to go on screen with him. So to sit down and, work with Brian was a great pleasure. I can't wait to do that again.
And you got to show up in the Jay and Silent Bob reboot, which was cool seeing you in that too.
I got it. Yeah, got to show up was my wife saying you should ask Kevin if you could be in Reboot, and tracking him down and asking Kevin and staying on it, and it was amazing. And he's like, long before I started making movies, I watched a lot of movies, and apparently he had seen Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, and it was like he's a deep guy. I get back from shooting Reboot, and I get to LA. I'm so excited. Hey, what were you just working on? Reboot. What's that? Kevin Smith's movie. Who's that? Even in Hollywood, there's people that they don't know who Kevin Smith is.
That seems unbelievable to me as someone
It
who's
does.
a fan of cinema and movies. And
Correct. He's not a $100 million opener movie. He's an independent filmmaker. Mallrats didn't do big business. People love it, but it's not mainstream media.
And you would think you have a hit like Dogma, though. I think that would kind of level. But who knows?
I'd go through Dogma, Chasing Amy, and I'd hear people in LA go, "Oh, I think I remember Chasing Amy." That's where they're at with Kevin Smith, not the love, because we know how Kevin is for his audience and his fans and his brothers and sisters in the Skewverse, all of the actors and filmmakers in there. He has created a family. Families can do some impossible things together. If it was strictly a business enterprise, if it was strictly just a studio making a movie, those wouldn't work.
Yeah, I guess that's
They
true.
wouldn't
Sure.
work. You need Kevin in there to go, that's a funny gag. Let me do that. Forget that. You need him to know his audience. And no, he's sitting in the audience while filming the movie. He's sitting in the audience. He just happens to be behind the camera at that point. I've never seen someone that loved movies so much, And then also, he's also the true, when I think independent movies, Clerks is the only one.
Sure, absolutely.
And yes, he had inspirations, but they're also my same inspirations. So that was amazing to be a part of that, and then to be able to go, be a part of it, to, go to other events and be welcomed by the, Jane Silent Bob universe. Those people are amazing too, and they're fans of me too. I'm fans of them. It was really Marilyn early. I was like Marilyn Gigliotti.
Yes.
And I'm like, that Clerks girl, and I'm so, broke out, and then didn't. Later, after doing the reboot, didn't realize that it really is a cult. It is a niche. It
Absolutely.
is and that that surprised me because I really didn't think it was more mainstream then.
And my very last question, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. Obviously, a big one was Fox and the Hound. You've got a lot of merchandise on your tables. People always come up to you with stuff to sign from that. Having voiced a character that Mickey Rooney's playing in a film, and just this iconic Disney show that still gets all this love today, what's your fondest memory about doing and working on that project?
We had a huge party. It wasn't done yet. Because Don Bluth had left and taken, I think 12 of the animators with him. It delayed the release of this movie. So we started doing the voices in 78. And, around late 80, we're having this cast and crew party, and the film's not finished. The whole bear sequence was just charcoal sketches done by Glenn King, which he wanted to do the whole sequence in charcoal sketches. And Roy Disney said, nope, we're not going to give you the money for that. By the way, Fox and the Hound was the most expensive animated film made at the time.
Really?
With a $10 million budget. It also did bigger box office than any movie to that date for Disney. But it was just a few films before the revolution.
Yeah.
I did audition for Lion King. I auditioned for Hunchback of Notre Dame. Doing it is not, now I know that when I was recording at that mic alone, by the way, you don't meet Pearl Bailey, you don't meet Jack Gelb. You see maybe Corey Feldman in the hallway passing as he's going to school, and we didn't do our scenes together. The only people that worked together were Beauty and the Beast because they had such great chemistry, and Robin Williams. Anytime he's in a scene with anybody, Shopkeeper number 2, call the actor, and Robin's going to want to improv with him. So you record your lines alone. We would record a little bit, wait 6 months, come back, record. They wanted our voices to age up a little in the first half of the movie. So we're still recording 78, 79, a little bit of 80. We're still going back in and doing voices. Later, knowing that that's the same mic that Pocahontas sat at, that's the same mic that Robin sat at for Aladdin, that's the same mic the Aristocats sat at, that's the same mic. That knowing that they've always used this studio, this microphone to record, and then it's screened next door. There's a mixing stage, and then there's a screening room. It's 3 studios where you record the voices, where they mix it, and then where they screen it. It's all in one complex on Disney. Every animated movie's been done there.
Amazing. And if people want to keep up with you, obviously, if they want to see Team of Two and stuff like that, keep up social media handles, websites, things like that?
I have a website, KeithCooganOnline.com, and it goes to that, merch and stuff. And and I'm on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. Just Keith Coogan, nothing creative, just Keith Coogan.
Easy enough to find you then.
Yep.
Keith Coogan, it's been great. Thanks so much for your time, and thanks for coming to St. Louis.
Absolutely. Thanks for your interview. Appreciate it.
My thanks once again to Keith Coogan. Great guy. Make sure you check out. We'll have links to all of his websites and everything in the show notes below, so make sure you check that out. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come right back chatting with the voice of Super Mario, Charles Martinet. Please stand by.
This is Matt King, the voice of Illidan Demon Hunter, and you're listening to Geek to Me Radio.
We're back. Geek to Me Radio. I'm your host, James Enstall. A lot of times I meet people who it's such a pleasure and such a fun time to talk with them. No exception here. With video game fanatics will know this person as the voice of Mario and Super Mario across many, 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 many games. And I had the chance to talk with the man himself, Charles Martinet.
We're here kicking off Fan Expo 2022 in St. Louis. We've got Charles Martinet, the voice of Mario. It's a very distinctive title. It's like no one else is Mario. You're Mario.
Hello, it's me, Super Mario. Woohoo! St. Louis, you number one. Yahoo!
So you've had this gig since 1994, if I'm not mistaken?
Actually, a little bit earlier, 1991 is when I crashed an audition, walked in and did an improvisation for 45 minutes until the tape ran out. And that was the beginning 31 years ago.
And yeah, I understand you were on the beach when you got the call to tell him, hey, you nailed. How long from when you auditioned to when you knew you got the part? Was it a couple weeks, couple months?
You know, I was actually on the beach doing what actors do, waiting for the pager to go off. And I got a page from a friend of mine. I thought it was dinner. He said, no, come and you got to come to do this audition. It's for a show in Las Vegas. I said, I'm a professional actor. I would never crash an audition. What's the address? And I left the beach. I went to this, and excuse my mask. I'm just
fine.
But I left the beach. I found a parking space. I walk in the door as the guy's walking out with the camera. And I said, "Can I read for this?" And I guess they hadn't found him because he looked at his wristwatch. He looked at the bar next door, and he said, "All right, come back. We'll set the camera up. You're an Italian plumber from Brooklyn, so you're going to be a real-time animation system where you are talking with people. They see the cartoon character. His name is Mario. He's a Nintendo character. And I'd never heard of Mario, never heard of Nintendo, but And you're going to see people, but they'll see the cartoon character. Hidden camera, hidden microphone. So you're just going to have to talk to them all day. I'm not going to pay you to just sit there if this doesn't work. So make up anything you want." And I thought, okay, Italian plumber from Brooklyn, hey, get out of my face. I'm working here. And I don't want to do that. I want to be something nicer and kinder. And I played Gremio and Taming of the Shrew. Nice Italian guy. I'll do something like that, And I know nothing about video games except waka, 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 waka. But I thought I'll make up things about food. So I heard action. I said, "Hello, I'm a Mario. Let's make a pizza pie together." And I started making up food. And I would just, I'll make the food. I'll chase you with it. If I catch you with it, you got to eat it and then chase me with it. So we went through lasagna dishes and then tortellini. Every pasta that I knew how to ever heard of. And then I started making them up because he said, "Don't stop till you run out of things to say." I said, "Okay, we're going to make a resto al patello. It's the greatest flavor." And I did that until I heard, "Stop talking, cut, there's no more tape. Thank you, we'll be in touch." And I thought that was the end. I walked out the door. He called Nintendo. I found out Mario. I got him. The next day, I was flying down to South Pasadena to get fitted for this headset,
That quick, wow.
It was fast. It was very fast. And then, gosh, we started the January Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas and then went to Chicago. It was supposed to be a one-off. And I guess we convinced them that it was fun enough to keep doing it because then, all of a sudden, I did Mario Teaches Typing, Mario Fundamentals, and then I got the beautiful phone call, "Mr. Miyamoto would like you to play Mario in a video game." Woohoo! So that was beautiful. That was
from the big guy himself.
From the, it was just beautiful. Well, I got I heard he wants you to do it. Yeah. But it was a tremendous honor. What a joy. And so that first session for Mario 64 with 5 years of improv and Mario Teaches Typing under my belt was just a joy of bringing out and blossom this character to find more of the gold and more of the gem. And it's such a wonderful character.
You're fluent in both French and Spanish, if I'm not mistaken. So when they do the dubbing for other countries for Mario, do you do the voice for those in those languages as well?
Well, brilliantly, there's really no dubbing. It's all done in English all around the world, except for like a Wario game that has a lot more dialogue to it. But a lot of this, the brilliance is the localization is in the languages that Toad will say, typed out. And so I do the "Let's go, Mamma Mia," things that everybody in the world recognizes. Very, very brilliant. And I think that's the thing I would say is, we've been talking about this so often. Doing what you love to do in life is what it's all about.
Yeah.
You love what you do. I can feel it by the way you're asking the question. I love what I do. And it's not just that it's not a day of work in your life. It's that you're living your dream. You're creating your dream, Life is like a video game in a way that you go through all the ups and downs, adventures. How you respond to each adversity defines your character. And you find out in the end that you've been the hero all along. But when you're looking at things that are right here, you don't think of yourself as the hero.
That's a great way to think about it, too.
Yeah, but you are. And that's why we have such a responsibility in the world to care for each other, to love each other, to respect each other, That's what we're here for, Everybody wants the best world for their family, their friends, and safety. We just don't always talk about the same way how to get there.
Sure, yeah, exactly.
So that's what we have to do, is refine our greatness in communication and the acknowledgement of our own humanity.
And one of the things about video games is that it's universal. Everybody loves video games, countrywide, man, woman, doesn't matter who they are. Video games are something that has that universal appeal, especially you being the voice. I can think of maybe Kevin Conroy, if he does his Batman voice, everyone knows it. Same with you. If you do the voice, do you get recognized very often? Or do you hey, I'd like to get a reservation. Oh, I'm sorry, we're full up. Are you sure? And you're right this way, Mr. Martinet.
I try never to use the voice to my advantage. But luckily, I'm 6'3" tall and with white hair and a little belly here, so it's hard to miss me in a crowd.
You've done other acting, and one of my favorite movies is The Game.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely love that movie. When you look at your part in it, it was all the flashbacks for his character, his dad. Was that, how long were you actually on set doing that particular film?
Well, I was only on the set for like 2 or 3 days, but the wonderful thing, actually 3 days, but the wonderful thing was, it wasn't wonderful at the time, but I was up on the top of Filoli Mansion, and I was meant to throw my cigarette down and step into the sunrise. Well, the sunrise happened. They had a high-speed camera going there. Everything's going, the first shot of the movie, and action, and I threw my cigarette down, and I stepped off the roof. The camera jammed.
Oh.
And it was like, we were up at 3 o'clock in the morning in makeup, getting ready. Camera jammed. It was like, quick, fix it. It could not fix it in time. It's summertime. So they decided we're going to flip it around, and you step into the sunset. So I got to hang around eating lobster and steak all day. It was the perfect day. The perfect shoot. So that was great fun.
It was a short, Michael Douglas, obviously, that's his kid. Did you get to see him or work with him at all during the film?
I didn't work with him, but we did meet. That was really fun, and Sean Penn was super. We just had, mostly I was connected with the director and the stunt people that were there. Terrific crew, wonderful people, and wonderful catering, I'm going to say.
And you got to work a very early episode of Matlock, which is, when you think of the people you've worked with, am I incorrect? It's on your IMDb. Is it
really? Oh, wow.
Did you not?
Well, it was fabulous, I said I could be Barney Fife, but I'm not.
See, and I always wonder, because I'll ask people, because I'll see something on the IMDb thing, I'm like, that doesn't sound right. So I'll always ask normally, and I've never been proven wrong until now. So you did not do Matlock at all.
I don't think I ever did Matlock.
Okay.
No, I did, or The Streets of San Francisco.
All right, but you did the other movies and acting before you got into voice, and now I looked at your resume. You've got over 100 credits just since 2000 doing Mario. That doesn't count anything else you've done. Do you now that you're in the voice acting, do you kind of wonder if you'd stayed with stage or with film or anything? Obviously you can't be unhappy with where you are, but you kind of often wonder about if you hadn't got the Mario call, where you might be?
Well, I think I would have ended up moving to Los Angeles and trying to make it in sitcoms and things, and movies. And I'm just so happy that I got to live the life that I wanted to live, Doing these shows all around the world is like doing this show, Fan Expo, St. Louis. What a joy. I will see thousands of Mario fans and beautiful people dressed up in cosplay, things that I've never seen before. I get to see friends like John Delancey, and go, the great people of the industry, the umbrella word industry. But it's a wonderful gift to have done my life the way I wanted to. It would have been great to do films and those things, but it's also wonderful just to do and look at your life and go, oh yeah, I'm so glad. I got to stay close to my family and friends. I've watched beautiful children grow up, in a wonderful, safe environment. So it makes me very, very happy.
And my last question, you've obviously met so many people at all these conventions you do. You always have a huge line of people waiting to see you. What's the most unusual piece of Mario or Nintendo memorabilia that you've ever had to sign for somebody, the most unusual?
Well, actually, there have been quite a few things, originals that I've never seen before. One of the tragic ones, actually, that comes into mind is after 25 years in the company, you get a statue of Mario. And I remember being there and autographing it for this wonderful young man that had been in the company for 25 years. And he left the company, and somebody brought that to me with my autograph still on it. And I went, how did you get this? What happened? And who knows?
Wow.
But there it was. So it was a shock and a mystery, and that was a hard one, because that Nintendo's like a big family. Everybody loves video games. Everybody's a fan of every game that there is, and they all play. The creative teams, everybody is like, the passion is palpable.
Yeah.
So when you lose somebody or somebody disappears, it's like, wait a minute, even though they're not with the company, what happened to this young man?
Sure, yeah.
Well, that was
hopefully he's okay. Hopefully he just misplaced
I
it.
hope so. Yeah, maybe so. Yeah, you never know, right?
Yeah.
Somebody could have just walked in the door or walked out the door with it. But yeah, it is wonderful when I do these shows to meet people who love the games. And I'm always so grateful to Nintendo for giving me, Super Mario, Luigi number 1, Wario, well, Luigi, and beating Mario, let's go! All this fun for so many years, but I'm also so grateful to the companies that bring us out, Fan Expo in St. Louis, wonderful people, keeping us safe, and wonderful, terrific environment for people to be and meet, but most of all, I'm grateful to the fans of Mario, who are fans like I am, because their love of the game is what gives me the freedom and the life that I love. So, thank you so much for playing my games. Woohoo!
And where can people keep up with you on social media, websites, things like that, if people want to keep up with you and your other conventions?
Well, I think so, yeah. I'm very bad at doing it, but Instagram, Charles Martinet, it's a me, and Twitter, Charles Martinet, and Facebook, Charles Martinet, CharlesMartinet.
Perfect. We will keep up with you from there. It'll be a great weekend. Welcome to St. Louis. Charles Martinet, merci beaucoup pour votre temps aujourd'hui.
C'est un grand plaisir. Woohoo!
Such a nice guy, super high energy. Man, if you ever get the chance to see him at a convention, he's out there jumping and doing that Super Mario jump, like when he hits the question mark things and the mushroom or the flower pops out in Super Mario. But he just got an incredible energy that's infectious. So I highly recommend if you get the chance to go see him at a convention, definitely do so. Before I get into this next break, we're going to mix it up a lot. I usually tell you about our sponsors coming back from commercial break. We're going to tell you about this one going into the commercial break. That sponsor, of course, is our official comic book sponsor, Bugs, Comics, and Games. Check their website out, bugscomicsandgames.com. I know a lot of people listen to the show and you're not in the greater St. Louis, St. Charles area, so you're not fortunate enough to go visit the store right there on Bryan Road in O'Fallon, Missouri. But the website lets you get access to all the comics that they have. If you're in your area and maybe you don't have a local comic book store close by, maybe your comic book store closed during the pandemic, sadly, you know what? Online is the next best thing, especially if you're supporting a small business. That's something good. And you're not buying from Amazon. You're not buying from a big box store. Larry and Tim, the owners of Bugs Comics, know what they're doing. They've got a lot of great back issues up, current issues, variant covers, for which I am a sucker. I'm always up for a good variant cover of something. And they've got those on the website. You can buy them right there online without ever leaving the comfort of your home. Check out the website, of course, Bugs Comics and Games. If you are in the greater St. Louis, St. Charles area, though, definitely go see them. Maybe your comic book shop, again, has closed. Maybe you're wanting to get back into the hobby after a little hiatus. Maybe you're wanting to check out some new stuff. Maybe you're new to collecting and you don't know where to start. Let Larry Quiggins, the owner, walk you through where to start, what you're looking for. It's like having a personal comic book concierge. Check them out there in O'Fallon, as I said, off Bryan Road, easy to reach from either the Page Extension or from Highway 70. And also, please give their Facebook page a like, facebook.com/Bugs Comics and Games. Couldn't be simpler. Always great to support local businesses, and it's always great when the people who run it are fans themselves. Once again, bugscomicsandgames.com. Very proud to have them as the official comic book sponsor here on Geek to Me Radio. Now that that's over with, now I'll send you off to break. We'll go to a station break here on the Big 550 KTRS. You're listening to Geek to Me Radio. Please stand by.
Hey guys, this is Corey Payton. I play Cyborg on Teen Titans Go. Booyah! And get ready for some Geek to Me Radio. I hear it's real good.
Welcome back to Geek to Me Radio. I'm your host, James Enstall. Want to make sure we tell you about our movie sponsor, of course, Marcus Theaters. MarcusTheaters.com is their website. If you haven't had a chance to go see a movie lately, boy, there are a lot of great movies out right now that you should be seeing. If you're wanting something a little more thriller, suspense, maybe a dose of horror, well, then I'd highly recommend The Black Phone, starring Ethan Hawke. You want a just turn your brain off popcorn movie, superheroes, smash them up, Thor: Love and Thunder, out now in theaters. Something for everyone. It's always a great time to go see the movies, and no place better to see them than on the big screen at Marcus Theaters. Was talking with a friend of mine the other day, and it's just one of those things. Movies were meant to be seen on the big screen. You can have the best surround sound system, a huge flat screen TV mounted to the wall, optimum lighting. It's not the same as having that shared theater experience, going to see it with a bunch of strangers in the dark, big tub of popcorn. You can't recreate that at home, no matter how hard you try. And believe me, I've had some strange people in my home trying to recreate it. But Marcus Theaters does it right if you want to go see a movie in IMAX. Top Gun Maverick is still playing, my friends. If you want to go see that one, that's a movie I would go see a third time. It was that good. There's a lot of movies out there. Summer is movie season. Get out of the heat for a while. Go enjoy a movie. Take a date. And, of course, you can always rent a private theater like some of my friends and I did for Thor: Love and Thunder this past weekend. And so you and a bunch of your friends can see a movie, just you and a bunch of your friends. It's kind of cool to do that, too. And you can rent those private cinemas on the Marcus Theaters website right there. Check them out, marcustheaters.com, for the best movie-going experience in the galaxy. We've got one more guest to get to, and it's not like I saved the best till last because all three of my guests have been fantastic, but I'm very, very excited to chat with my next guest.
Talking with Nolan North. You know him from tons of video games, tons of voiceover work, and you can see him in the new Uncharted movie. That was kind of nice. This Tom Holland kid, do you think he's got a future?
I think he's got the start of something special. No, I can't even. I love that we have Mario music behind our interview. We're next to
theme. That's right.
Exactly. No, I think Tom is like more mature at his age than I am at mine, and I'm twice as old as he is. He is an amazing force. I mean, the guy is as charming as can be. He's so professional. He's so talented, and I know he's been a fan of the franchise, and so he's got that emotional investment to put his best foot forward in this role. And I can't think of anyone more deserving to take over the mantle of Nathan Drake. So I'm really excited to see. I know the first movie did well. I hope they get another one and he can continue the adventures the way I got to in the different games.
Did he ask you for any advice going into the role on how to play it at all?
I know he's gotten that question and I've gotten that question, and no. The only advice I would have told him is go play the games, which he had, because he doesn't need to talk to me about Nathan Drake when he can play and be Nathan Drake in the games. So I think that was the best research that he could possibly do. I mean, I'm not going to tell. I mean, there's nothing I can teach him. He knows what he's doing, and I thought he did a great job, and I look forward to anything he does. I think he's really, really talented.
Absolutely. And the back half of the newest season of Young Justice is now out on HBO Max. I know we had Greg Weisman on very recently, and he was saying if people want a new season, go watch the new stuff, tweet about it and everything like that. Have you guys heard anything? It was probably a couple months ago we had Greg on. Have you heard anything yet about a renewal?
I have not heard anything about a renewal. I'm hoping to hear something about a renewal. I would love to do another season. I know Greg and Brandon would be up for it. They put so much of passion and their heart and soul into that this whole this series, and it's like the little engine that could. Yeah. It overcame all kinds of odds. It's got a cult following. I've answered hundreds of questions this weekend about Young Justice and Superboy and what's going to happen. Are we going to have another season? I sure hope we do. I think it's one of my favorite series I've ever been involved in. I think it's so well written. The fans are so passionate, and it's just is such a shame that it's had to bounce from one platform to the next and find its way when so many people are enjoying it. So I hope HBO will keep us going, or whoever, honest to God, is paying the bills at this point, because I don't even know anymore. But I know we have passionate writers and producers. Every one of the actors wants to do more. They're characters and roles we've come to love, and I'll do it as long as they let me.
when looking over your expansive voiceover work, you've played a lot of different Marvel characters. I noticed DC, you play a lot of Kryptonians.
Yeah.
It seems like that, between Zod and Superboy and then Superman and everything like that. Do you have a Kryptonian voice? Is that why you keep getting cast as those roles?
I don't know. It's a really good point. I think it's just because I gain my power from the sun, just like they do, because that vitamin D, I soak it up. Just I think it's just a fact of a lot of my work, whether it's on camera inside a studio or VO inside a booth in a studio, a lot of my work is indoors, so I usually will recharge my own batteries by going outside, whether it's in a park for a run or a golf course. I don't know. I like Superman, like any Kryptonian. I
gotta get out.
I got to get outside in the sun. It feeds me. It keeps me going.
I know we talked to a lot of voice actors, and COVID really changed the game on how things are done. But for voice actors, everyone I've talked to said, we're staying at home in a booth, we're recording our stuff, and the voice work didn't really... It slowed down, but it never stopped like it did for a lot of live actors. Did you have I don't want to say did you have a good time during COVID, that sounds weird, but did you adjust after getting your home studio set up and everything?
Yeah, it was more of a speed bump that we hit. So yeah, the on-camera stuff definitely just shut down. But the voiceover hit that speed bump is the best way to put it. And then I think for about 4 to 6 weeks, nothing, and then everyone realized, hey, we can do this from home. This is what you need. And it basically was like a good Cat 6 wire, that you hardwire into a laptop, a good mic, and I remember ordering a bunch of like pyramid insulation foam, and I made a tiny soundproof booth we called the casket, because the stuff I could get to my house quickest was like this burgundy soundproof foam. So when the lights would come up, I would literally come up with my arms across my chest like a vampire. Good evening, and then we'd record. But from there on, even at the height of COVID, I was able to continue working. And the downside is I don't get to go to the studios anymore and sit with my friends when we do a lot of video games. You're alone, but a lot of the animated series I do, you're with your group of friends. This became you work from home, and I sadly don't think it's ever going to go back to what it was. I think the directors like it, casting people like it. So I think for on camera, it's now I think self-taping will be. There won't be in-house auditions anymore, and voiceover wise, you get your home studio set up, and I've now expanded mine and made it much more of a big room and done my thing, and it's pretty easy, working in your pajamas sometimes when you have
I
to.
Can imagine.
But a good tip is just stay clothed.
Right, in case the camera.
Just in case.
On,
it's and I don't know.
You might get some better parts if you take off a little something, though. You never know.
Or I could get worse parts, and I don't know what that would do to my ego.
Well, I think it's cool, too, that you did Agatha Christie video games, voiceovers for that. And it's such a cool thing to do.
You did some research.
Well, I'm a big murder mystery type of fan. We've been seeing these come to life on the big screen now with Death on the Nile most recently, but Murder on the Orient Express. Were you a big Agatha Christie fan going into them?
I was a big Agatha. I loved all that stuff. Hercule Poirot. I've seen all the movies, all the iterations, whether it's, all the way back. And wow, you just pulled out that's one out of the hat. That was years ago. And now I think that was like a PC game.
It was a CD-ROM for the PC.
CD-ROM game. And that was early in my career. And I remember getting to do that. I'm like, this is great. I got to do a bit of a British accent, I believe. And it was awesome. It was great. So, they should do more. I think Agatha Christie is ripe for the picking for some of these, especially the narrative-driven games. That would be a really good thing to explore. Except the only problem is people may know Agatha Christie so well, they know who did it,
who done it.
But it could be a really interesting thing to do is if you played with Agatha Christie and you had multiple outcomes depending on what the player's choice is.
Adventure.
Maybe somebody different ends up being the That's a really good idea. We may have stumbled upon a great idea.
I just take a production credit. I don't need any money, but if you could put me on the, in the credits, it'd be great.
Take the money.
All right. And with the live action stuff, going back to General Hospital in Port Charles, it's kind of cool because obviously you're not the soul, but on your IMDb page it says you started in 1963.
Somebody brought that up. You know what? I think so. That's when General Hospital started. Yeah. So I think and I did a couple episodes of that because our show was my first show after I moved to Los Angeles from New York. Port Charles was a spin-off of General Hospital. Port Charles is the town General Hospital is in. The show Port Charles was in the emergency room of General Hospital. But we did some crossovers. I'd go over and do a couple episodes of General Hospital here and there. So technically, I'm on it, and I think that just shows it's not when I.
Right.
That's several years before I was born. So I think it was. I think that's just their algorithm
started.
When that show started. But it'd be interesting how they could do that thing.
It'd be kind of weird they'd have to go in and scope out when your episodes aired and everything like
exactly.
that. Exactly. And you played a lot of comic book characters. Were you a comic book fan before you got a lot of these roles?
I had like Archie and Jughead comics when I was a kid. I had like the goofy ones, but I did have Spider-Man. I was kind of a big Spider-Man fan. All the old original Spider-Man stuff was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I got to meet Stan Lee years ago and get to know him a little bit, and I used to talk to him about that. So, and then when I did Deadpool, I started reading a lot about Deadpool and trying to get through some of those. Because I just love the character. I think he's hysterical.
Deadpool above Spider-Man in your estimation?
Yes, because I do Deadpool and I'm not doing Spider-Man because I got Tom Holland's got that one covered on camera, and Yuri Lowenthal is a buddy of mine. He does a great Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. I'm gonna leave it to them.
All right, good enough. Website, social media handles where people can keep up with you if they want to see more. You got other projects coming out soon?
You know what? I can't talk about any other projects. I'm under so many NDAs, but I'm Nolan _North on Twitter. I should be better. Really, Nolan North on Instagram, but that's about it. And I'm not really as active as I probably should be, but throw stuff there. Every now and then I'm trolling it, so you can throw up stuff there and tell me how much you think I'm great or I stink. And all opinions are welcome.
Only great comments. We have to edit those other ones as disinformation if they say you stink. That's what I say.
It depends on who you're talking to. Could be disinformation the other way around, too.
Well, you never know. This has been great to talk to you. Nolan North, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
That's going to do it. Another show in the books. Thank you once again to my guest, actor Keith Coogan, voice actor of Super Mario Charles Martinet, and, of course, actor and voice actor Nolan North. Thanks, as always, to Joey V, my executive producer, for making the show sound as good as it does. Thank you to my sponsors, the Greater St. Charles Convention and Visitors Bureau, Marcus Theaters, and Bugs Comics and Games. We've got a live show coming at you next week, another new show. So stick around there. Make sure you're following me on Twitter and Instagram at Geek to Me Radio. And please go give our YouTube page a subscription or a follow, whatever it is. YouTube.com/Geek to Me Radio. Until next week, my friends.
That's a show. This is Geek to Me Radio. That's a show. This is Geek to Me Radio.
Thank you, Super Mario World. Good night.
Hey kids, are your parents about to buy you a shiny new toy from Amazon?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Well, don't be selfish. Share some of that money with us. Before going on Amazon, make sure to type in bit.ly/geek2me in the web browser. It will look just like Amazon.com, except it'll say referral Geek to Me Radio up top. And then when you check out, a tiny percentage will go to support the show without costing you 1 cent more. So before your parents get you that gizmo, gadget, or widget, make sure they type in bit.ly/geek2me in the web browser.
bit.ly/geek2me, bit.ly/geek2me.